With the conviction, barring it being overturned on appeal, Wander Franco's chances of resuming his MLB career at any point seem slim, given it will be extremely difficult to get a visa into the U.S. as it's needed to play.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Captain Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
Bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And on today's episode, we have the Wander Franco verdict. That's pretty much going to be the gist of what we discuss. A decision has been made. As of Thursday afternoon, he was found guilty on a charge of sexual abuse stemming from a relationship with a minor that started in December 2022 in the Dominican Republic. And he was sentenced not to 20 to 30 years or 5 years, but 2 years of suspended prison time. So a little bit less than I think anybody anticipated from the onset.
Definitely. And it's a suspended prison sentence. So from what I'm reading, this is kind of like he's on free. He has his freedom with just these conditions. Apparently, the main condition said by the judge is that he does not approach minors with sexual intentions, which, come on. I mean, all right.
So really all he has to do to stay out of jail is stay away from girls under 18. Got it. All right.
All he has to do is what we all do.
Yeah.
Just this has been so horrible. And by the way, before we get too wrapped up in this, yes, the Rays swept the Royals. Yes, the Rays were awesome in Kansas City. Yes, we will talk about that. We have to talk about the starting pitching, Chandler Simpson, Josh Lowe, Yandy Diaz, B-Lau, all of that. And we will on Friday's episode. With this being so in your face with Wander Franco, we both think it's...
Jeff Passan is tweeting about it or Xing about it, it's a big deal. It's national, international news, not just Rays news. So we got to get those likes, got to get those clicks, got to get those views. And we have to talk about Wander, as unfortunate as it may be. And frankly, I'm to the point that assuming he will no longer be a Ray ever again or a major leaguer ever again, I'm totally fine with this being one of the last times we ever have to mention Wander Franco. I'm willing to put a boycott embargo on this situation, this mess. You know, maybe if he signs somewhere in Asia, it'll be a footnote, 30 seconds worth of content.
Exactly, yeah. But, I mean, this should be the second to last big episode we have on Wander, because the next thing is MLB's investigation. That'll be the final, okay, what is actually going to happen? Because this unanimous decision, by the way, this was a unanimous decision by the three judges, by the three panel, the panel of three judges. This decision that was unanimous, it can be appealed to two higher levels of courts. So this could drag on, obviously, a little bit more. I should say, with the conviction, and let me quote the great Mark Topkin, with the conviction, barring it being overturned on appeal, Wander Franco's chances of resuming his MLB career at any point seem slim, given it will be extremely difficult to get a visa into the U.S. as it's needed to play. So for those of you that don't know this, because I didn't know this either when I started looking into this, the visa needed for work in the U.S., it would be much harder to obtain, given that it's a crime of moral turpitude.
Right.
So it all seems to point, without it actually having a finalized decision, that this man is not going to be wearing any type of MLB uniform for the rest of his life, unless he has some from the 2021, 2022, or 2023 season that he keeps in his closet, and he wants to wear it to kind of make himself a little bit more sad, because that's the only way that he's going to be wearing any MLB uniform ever again.
That looks like to be the case, and hopefully that is the case, in my opinion. We have more to discuss on this, but first we have to tell the audience something very important that is next on the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. That is Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House, it is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website, it's packed, and I mean packed, with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Well, it's easy. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. All right, Ulysses, we're back talking our favorite subject, I guess, Wander Franco. Watch this be one of the most viewed episodes just because Wander Franco and all the mess and the news that has been made of it. But I find it, I guess the word I'll use is interesting or unique, that Wander gets a 2-year suspended sentence. So basically, hey, if you just follow the rules and can be somewhat of a good citizen, we won't throw you in jail. Whereas the mother of the 14-year-old girl, got 10 years. So 5 times the sentence of what Wander got. So I guess it does pay to be someone of power, of fame, of influence, of affluence. You can afford a high-priced lawyer. I guess all that does count, whether you're in the States or another country.
It does, because what's the it was one of the most shocking things. Not first, I think the most shocking thing would be 2 years, and then he's already out. Like, it's suspended. So basically, like you said, be an okay citizen. You don't even have to be a great citizen. He doesn't have to like donate to charity or like do community service, like nothing. It's just
don't touch kids. You can do that. You're good.
Yeah, like it was boiled.
Don't pull out a gun on anybody.
It was boiled. Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently that's also difficult for Wander Franco to do. Jeez, he's such a man. Okay, anyway, that's definitely the first shocking thing, is that the fact that, he basically got off, and with those 2 years suspended. And then, but the second one is, like you're saying, the mother, 10 years. Yeah. And I'm not saying, and please, I'm not saying the mother should not have gotten 10 years. She should have gotten less. I'm not saying that. We're just saying she gets 10 and Wander only gets 2. Yeah. Like, make it make sense a little bit, right?
I would think if she got 10, he would at least get 10, if not 15 or 20 or 25 or 30. And what's interesting about this whole thing, as the news was rolling out, I think, the people who were boots on the ground were tweeting or Xing everything in Spanish, and I had to click the whole translate button. Ulysses, you had a better time at that than I did. You didn't have to hit the translate button, but not every one of us, but Mark Topkin, Evan Klosky, all those folks had to, do the old translate thing. And I think when the news broke, Topkin reposted and said, hey, Franco's guilty. That's 5 years. Wait. Nope. Actually, it's not 5 years. It's 2 years suspended. Okay. Yeah. So that's what happened.
It was surprising. It was surprising to only see the 2 years, but I wanted to do a little comparison, because now, obviously, like we just said in the first segment, okay, what's next? Next, MLB investigation. By the way, MLB did come out with a statement on Franco. They said Major League Baseball is proud to have a collectively bargained joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy that reflects our commitment to these issues. We are aware of today's verdict in the Wander Franco trial and will conclude our investigation at the appropriate time. So we've all kind of assumed that this is going to have the Trevor Bauer path. So I said, okay, well, let's do a little digging on the Trevor Bauer thing, with the help of our friendly AI intern GPT. I have the following dates. So on July 2nd, 2021, MLB placed Bauer on administrative leave after California authorities received a sexual assault complaint by Lindsey Hill. July 2nd, 2021. Then August 2021, a Los Angeles Superior Court heard the restraining order request filed by Hill, and it was denied. In February 8th, 2022, so basically 7 months after the administrative leave, the LA County District Attorney announced no criminal charges would be pursued, closing the criminal track. And then on April 29th, 2022, so 2 months after that, Commissioner Rob Manfred announced a 324-game suspension. So essentially, roughly 2 months and 3 weeks after that DA declined the charges, MLB came out with their sentencing, for lack of a better word. So if we go by this type of timeline, 2 months and 3 weeks, we're looking at all of July, all of August, mid-September, like with 10 games left, and maybe the division is at play, and maybe everything's kind of crazy. And where are the Rays going to be playing in their home side playoffs games? Boom, the Wander Franco MLB investigation could be released at that time.
If not sooner, because with the Bauer situation, I mean, no criminal charges were pursued. And with this situation, hey, he was charged and found guilty. How much longer of an investigation do you need to make beyond that for the MLB? So whether it's 2 months, a month and a half, whatever it is, I would imagine that MLB will levy some type of heavy suspension and or outright ban, if that's even possible, of you're banned from playing in the major leagues. And after that, I would imagine the course would be that the Rays can get out of the Albatross, now an Albatross contract that is $183 million to a guy that is unable to play for you, or you don't want to play for you.
So now that the first big thing was getting the conviction for the Rays to get this contract off their back. Boom, they got the conviction. So that helps their case of getting this contract voided. Then the second punch in this one too would be that MLB investigation. Like you're saying, that could be a lifetime ban, right? Or it could be a whatever type of suspension. But once I think the legal visa issues come with the moral turpitude, that actually might be the way to go, where the Rays are no longer on the hook for what is it? What's left on it? 170. The guy
vast majority of it, like 95%, because it really starts kicking in nowsers, give or take.
Yeah, because like last year he should have gotten $8 million, which he did not get, or this year, one of those two. So it was starting to be like okay money, quote unquote, in baseball terms.
Yeah, and he would be theoretically, halfway through the 2025 season. Oh, I don't know, maybe a 4.5 WAR player at this point, and you'd say that is an unbelievable investment. Hey, you could have paid him double and still got a heck of a deal.
But with no guidance and perturbed mind and everything else, you can't help that, man. Or can you? I mean, this is a little bit more philosophical than maybe people are wanting to have a conversation about this. But like, could this have been avoided? You don't know. But the thing is, the contract is hopefully going to be avoided, so that the Rays can hopefully be able to put those monies into a player that does not do the sort of things that Wander has now been convicted about. And maybe we should talk about who those players should be. But first, Kevin, we need to tell folks something very important on the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Summer is here, people, and maybe you're about baseball because you're listening to Locked On Rays, and maybe golf, like Kevin, or high-stakes soccer, like myself. Any of those, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action, people. We know this. Why not make it just a little bit more thrilling with those extra green Skittles you don't know what to use them for? This is what you can do. Maybe Jonathan Aranda is going to be having a good day. Well, maybe Drew Rasmussen could have a great outing, and you can put a little bit of green Skittles on those couple of people, or whoever you want. The option is for you. So, new to FanDuel, it doesn't matter, because guess what? New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. I'll say that again. If you're a new customer, you can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
All right, we're back on the Locked On Rays podcast, closing things out. I was looking at Wander Franco's numbers and just what could have been. I know we've talked about this before, but what could have been 2023 when he was an all-star, by the way, and played in 112 games. The reason that season was cut short, well, we know why. The rest is history. He was a 5.4 WAR player in 112 games. He had 23 doubles, 6 triples, 17 homers, 58 RBI, 30 stolen bases, 42 walks, just 69 strikeouts, a 281, 344, 475, yielding an 819 OPS and 125 OPS plus. I am willing to go on record in saying that if he was still in a Rays uniform come 2025, and nothing happened off the field or injury-wise, he might be the best player not named Shohei Ohtani, or top 3 in the American League. I mean, he was on that trajectory. He could have, as he was getting into his mid-20s, early to mid-20s strength, we could have been looking at least a 30-30 player, if not like a 40-40 player, perhaps.
Yeah, he was a 30-30 threat. I mean, you're saying 112 games, you're saying 17 home runs
and
30 stolen bases. So is it a stretch to think that in 40-plus games he could have had 13 home runs? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But you know what? Maybe not with a guy that talented that can easily put 3 away in a week.
Yeah.
In the stands. So I know some people are going to be thinking, why are you talking about him as a player? Because we need to turn it a little bit into baseball too. Right. We gave you the Locked On Legalese, the Locked On
Legal, Locked On Law.
Let's go a little bit into baseball. Yeah. So yeah, what could
have been? By the way, he was a shortstop and a switch hitter.
BT Dubs. And I mean, just an all-around bust. I don't know much about hockey. I don't know much about football. I can tell you hands down this is the biggest bust. And I know people are going to say Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton was not a bust. He had an actual MLB career. Yes. So that negates the bust. Well, if he was a bust in Tampa Bay, no. That's you don't get to use bust for different scenarios. Either you're a bust or you're not a bust.
I'd rather give a second chance to somebody who had issues with drugs and or alcohol than somebody who was a sexual predator.
100%. So turning into the last few minutes of the show, let's turn the dial on a little bit on the happy side and say, hey, we've got good players that are not named Wander Franco that are not doing these alleged, not alleged anymore. He was convicted. Not doing these things. Well, maybe we should put that money to use when MLB decides that contract is null and voided. Kevin, is it too much of an easy thing to say that most people are going to ask for Junior Caminero to be receiving that money, or at least a big chunk of that $170+ million that is going to be get voided?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, the argument against that, I guess, is you want to make sure 158% that he's a good character guy, that the money won't go to his head, that he doesn't have off the field issues or any signs or inkling of off the field issues. I'm fine with the guy being confident or a little bit cocky on the field. That's okay. As long as you're not touching little children or teenagers and hitting home runs, let's do it. But I think it would have to be Junior, just for the sake of how often do we talk about needing a middle of the order bat? How often do we talk about, man, if we could just get a guy in the lineup that could average 35 to 40 home runs? Well, Junior Caminero is that guy. He has 20 home runs as of June 26th. And yeah, he's only 21 years old. So,
he's 21.
Yeah. And so I would rather give it to a home run bopper versus a pitcher, because we can grow pitchers on trees. I feel like it really comes down to that. And, you know, the Rays, they're showing that, I mean, they'll try to compete, but they're not going to win in a free agency battle for a Marcell Ozuna or Freddie Freeman at this juncture. So you might as well invest from within and give Junior that opportunity. Or if I really want to throw a curveball and being a little tongue-in-cheek, you could use those newfound savings theoretically towards a new stadium.
I mean, I think we would all enjoy that much more than putting it on a player, just to get the stadium bull crap out of our purview. But just quick napkin math. Let's say it's $170 million that they can utilize now.
Right.
If Wander Franco is a 5-tool player who can be a 20-20 guy in his first full season, a 30-30 guy at 21 years old, a 40-40 guy probably at 23-24. Like, that's the type of level of talent that you're doing. And he gets 183 for a dozen years. Junior is an incredible, talented power hitter that has shown a lack of plate discipline. He doesn't walk that much. That should improve. His defense should improve. It's good. It's flashes of good. It's not there yet. Inflation has gone up. Yes. So what you sign in 2022, in 2025, well, guess what? Inflation happened. So
meet Juan Soto, meet Shohei Ohtani, meet Vlad Guerrero Jr.
So are we really saying that, I don't want to call him a one-dimensional player because he's not, but less complete player than Wander Franco at the time?
Yeah, Wander was a true 5-tool player and way better and more refined and more developed than Junior is right now. I mean, Junior, might have the leg up on power, but that's about it.
That's about it. So $170 million divided by 8 years is 21.25. I don't think that gets it done.
Oh, you think he would require more?
I think he would.
Well, I mean, he won't. Here's the thing, though. He won't hit arbitration until 2028, and then he'd be a free agent in 2031. That's a long time to wait.
That's a long time. So maybe that's a way that you can curb that and say, hey, you get money now, which obviously is the whole thing about team-friendly deals. But it doesn't seem to me that 21.25 million average is going to be something that Junior might say yes to. Like, I feel like that's not enough in 2025.
Yeah. I mean, but again, he would still have an opportunity to get a second contract. I mean, it's not like this would be it. So I know the market's different, but if you're telling me at 21 years old, he's making league minimum right now, I don't know what he got as an international free agent, but I don't think it was
that much
up to Wander's, $3.5 million or whatever it is. So you're saying I get a guaranteed $183 million, rain or shine? I'd be hard pressed to say no on that.
I'd be hard pressed too, but I'm not Junior. Exactly. So hopefully
he waited out for another half dozen years. I mean, we know he'll see some income earnings when arbitration hits, but you get that guarantee. I mean,
get that guarantee. I don't know.
Put it in the comments what you think. Would Junior Caminero, if offered between 170 and 180 million dollars today, would he accept it? Would
for
his
8
agent
years?
accept it?
Let's do 8 years because it would cover at least a couple years of free agency, which he would still be able to be 29 for his next contract, which he could sign for 300, 400 mil by that time. So drop it in the comments. Is $170 million for 8 years, which is around 21.25 million average annual salary. Do you guys think he would sign that?
But it is also little apples and oranges because those guys that we mentioned, Shohei, Vlad Guerrero, Soto, I mean, those were established players. I think the marketplace is a little bit different when you've shown a track record versus a guy that, more or less is in his.
It doesn't get better, bro. Yeah. Tatis, over 300. Bobby Witt, over 300.
Good point.
I don't know. I want him to say yes, obviously, but I don't know if he would, man.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe part of it is all contingent on the new ownership. I mean, I don't even know if the Rays are going to be spending money. Like, if they're about to hammer out the deal, Zapolsky or whatever his name is, or whomever they are negotiating heavily with, might be saying, hey, don't do anything crazy right here. We kind of have an inkling of what we'd like to do and what we throw around. So I would just put it like that. So, all right. Let us know what you think. Wander Franco, we'll try not to mention his name on Friday, but you never know. Maybe it might pop in. But, man, what could have been? To me, Wander was a guy that if he continued the trek that he was on, he could be the type of player that when he hits 32 or 33, he could retire and still be a Hall of Famer. Like, that's how good I thought he was going to be and could have been. So.
Could have been. Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to those podcasts.